Hello, welcome to Unit 2, Lesson 6, using equations to solve problems. So in this situation, it says, based on her recipe, Elena knows that 5 servings of granola have 1,750 calories. The first question says, if she eats 2 servings of granola, how many calories does she eat? To answer this, the first thing I'm going to do is start by creating a table. So in my table, I'm going to have servings on one side and calories on the other. So I know for 5 servings, that is 1,750 calories. So I'm going to calculate the constant of proportionality by asking myself, what times 5 is equal to 1,750? Well, to quickly calculate that, I'm just going to do 1,750 divided by 5. So that is equal to 350. Now I need to calculate for 2 servings. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 2 and I am going to multiply it by 350. And when I do, I get 700. So therefore, 2 servings has 700 calories. The other thing I want to point out is that this 350 is the constant of proportionality, but keep in mind, if we wanted to interpret that, this would mean 350 calories per 1 serving. Let's take a look at question 2. If she wants to eat 175 calories of granola, how many servings should she eat? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create another table, but I'm going to flip-flop calories and servings. Okay, now in the previous problem, we talked about how 1 serving was equal to 350 calories. So I'm going to write that in the table. Okay, now remember we also talked about how constants of proportionalities, when you flip-flop the table, are reciprocals of each other. So I know the constant of proportionality for this table is going to be k equals 1 over 350. We learned that in a previous lesson. When you switch the columns in the tables, you can then take the reciprocal of the constant of proportionality to find the new constant of proportionality. So I know that 350 times 1 over 350 equals 1. I also know that because when you multiply reciprocals, it always is equal to 1. Now, if I wanted to calculate 175 for 175 calories, I can still multiply by 1 over 350. So you can use a calculator to do this, but I'm going to show it the long way just so extra practice with fractions. I have 175 over 1 times 1 over 350. When I multiply across, I get 175 over 350. Now the biggest number that I can think of offhand that goes into both 175 and 350 is 25. So I'm going to divide by 25 over 25. And when I do that, I get 7/14. Okay, now I notice, well, 7/14 can still be simplified, and that I can divide by 7 over 7, which is 1/2. So therefore, 175 calories comes from 1/2 of a serving. Now, maybe you recognize that it was that case because maybe you recognize, well, 175 is half of 350. That's fine. I just wanted to set it up this way because then it sets us up for question number 3. All right. Question number 3 says, write an equation to represent the relationship between the number of calories and the number of servings. Now, there are 2 possible equations that you can have, so I'm going to divide my answers in half. If I were to use the first table. Okay. And if I were to label servings as S and calories as C, if I continued this down and put S here, I would have 350S, right? Because I multiply by K, which is 350. So I am saying that 350S, which is in the C column, are equal to each other. So 350S and C are equal to each other. Everything in the C column is equal to C. So one equation that I could possibly use is C equals 350S. Now, if I look at the second table, I'm going to copy and paste that down here as well. I can label calories C again and servings as S. And if I were to continue and label this C here, I would have to multiply by 1 over 350. So I would get 1 over 350C. Okay, again, this 1 over 350C is in the S column. So remember, everything in the S column is equivalent to S. So my equation is S equals 1 over 350C. Okay, now this is really important. You can't, your equations should match identically to one or the other. You don't have to have both, but you do have to have one or the other. The way we read this equation is the number of calories is equal to 350 times the number of servings, whereas this one is interpreted as the number of servings is equal to 1 over 350 times the number of calories. Okay, so again, you only had to have one, but yours, whichever one you have, should be identical to what I have. Thank you.